Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brain Health Matters. I'm Kate Kunkel, your host and the creator of this series of educational events, courses, and programs, all designed to help you become the healthiest you can be so that your brain is the happiest it can be. And this week we have with us Rena Yudkowsky. She's a professional memory coach and geriatric social worker who teaches online memory improvement courses to midlifers and seniors. That's us. Over the past 20 years in the field, she has worked with dementia and Alzheimer's patients in many settings and is currently the memory coach for an international anti-aging clinic where she does one-on-one coaching and is working on a comprehensive program to prevent dementia. And that's what we're all about. Welcome, Rena.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you, Kate. Welcome to everyone watching us.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here with us.
wonderful. Yeah, I attended one of your webinars some time ago, and you're just so full of wonderful information. So
Thank
I'm
you.
delighted you agreed to share with us. So
My pleasure.
one of the big things our group members have asked about recently is losing words.
Yeah.
And that seems to be pretty typical for menopausal, postmenopausal women. Tell us a little bit about that and how we might fix it.
Yes. A lot of people come to me and complain they just can't get the words out. Like it's like on the tip of their tongue, right? We call it the tip of the tongue syndrome or phenomena. So I want to share with you something interesting. I saw a really cool study that actually I found very useful. So I'm going to share with you.
Great.
It said that the part of the brain that's in charge of word recall starts to shrink as we age. And the best thing we could do to stop that shrinkage is physical exercise. So when we even just walk, even just walking, it actually grows that part of the brain it's called the left insula, that's in charge of word recall. So I'll give you some tips and tricks, but I want you to know something in the other vein of lifestyle factors, which we talk a lot about when we talk about preventing dementia. The research showed that the part of the brain that shrinks when you have word recall issues or that causes that can be helped through physical exercise. So just know that if you are not yet exercising, start right now, not too late. And if you are exercising, good for you, and know that it's helping your brain. So that's on the research part. In terms of the actual what's going on in your brain and what can we do to help with the word recall, just some tips and tricks for that. So first, the first thing you want to do when that happens to you, whether it's a name or a word, or maybe you're speaking two languages and you forget it in one language, that happens for some of us that are bilingual or trilingual, or sometimes there's a word that's hard for me to remember in a certain language. So the first thing you need to do is take a deep breath. Because what happens? You forget that name or that word and you panic, right? You go, what's wrong with me? I'm so stupid. I'm getting dementia. Or what's wrong with my brain? Or why can't I think clearly? And we say all these negative things to ourselves that do they help us remember? No, they just put us in more of a panic. And that negative self-talk just, it's playing on our fears.
Yes.
That we're getting dementia. So the first thing you do is take a deep breath or two. And then you say to yourself, I'm going to remember this in a minute or an hour or a day, and most probably it will come back to you. It's just a matter of when. So that's the first thing you need to do is we want to try to negate that negative self-talk. We don't want to be saying to ourselves, you're getting dementia or you're stupid. That's not going to help us remember. It's take a deep breath and I can do this. I have a technique. I can learn a technique. It'll come to me. So that's the first step. The next step you're going to do when you're trying to recall a word is you sort of search your memory bank. You search your whole memory bank for any cues or triggers that are going to help you. So the example I like to give is, let's say I met a lady last week at a wedding. I haven't gone to a wedding in a long time, but let's say I'm just going to give an example. I met a lady, and let's say I'm trying to remember her name, and I can't come up with the name. Now I met her, we were talking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually close my eyes, and I'm going to search my whole memory bank for any cues. I'm going to go back to that place. I'm going to imagine sitting at the table talking to her. What was I wearing? Maybe I could imagine the music playing in the background. And I'm going to sort of try to recall the whole conversation in my brain. And usually I can do that. I usually can remember, oh yeah, I talked to her about her cousin who I know, or about, maybe I even talked about my memory classes. And usually when you sort of try to come up with a contextual clues, that might help you remember her name. And because I'm thinking, oh yeah, we talked about this and this. Oh yeah, she said her name was Devorah or Susan, or so it's the contextual cues that you're sort of searching your whole memory bank that could help you come up with it. That's the second trick. The third trick is to actually go through the ABC. You can search your, go through the alphabet if you're trying to remember a word or a name. So it could be A, B, C, D, and go through the whole ABC. And when you get to S, you might go, oh, Susan, her name was Susan. So sometimes that helps trigger. So these are just little tips that could help you. So it's take a deep breath. It's search your memory bank for contextual clues to come up with the name or the word. And it's go through the ABC. And then the fourth thing that's helpful, but it's sort of like it's a prepare in advance type of helpful, which is, let's say you're going to a family reunion, and let's say they're going to be people there that you haven't seen in a long time, and maybe they're like distant cousins, and maybe you don't know all their names because you can't remember all the names because you haven't seen them in a long time. So you know what? Prepare in advance. Sit down and make a list of all the people that you think are going to be there, or that are going to be there. Make a list of all those distant cousins that might be there, and you're going to want to remember their name. You're not going to want to so that preparing in advance is very intentional. You're making the intention to remember. And when you do that, it's a lot easier to come up with the name. And if it does escape you, the name or the word, you say, give me a sec, it's going to come to me. Or you can it's really even okay to say, I haven't seen you in a long time. Just remind me of your name. That's okay also, because we're all, getting older, and we're all sometimes forget names. Yeah. But keeping sharp is about really the exercise, and then some of those techniques are really helpful.
So for word recall and name recall, yeah, that was something. And even though I noticed a lot of people when in the group, they said, it's not just about recalling it later, but even at the moment, like somebody will say, my name is blah, blah, and even though, and I'm guilty of this myself, I'll repeat the name in my head, and I'll even try to make a rhyme to go with it so that it helps it stick. But when there are lots of people, I just have the worst time. Any tips on that?
Yes. This is one of my favorite topics.
Oh, good.
I actually have a 2-part masterclass on names. I teach a whole memory course that has like everything about memory in it. Right. I pulled out the best part of it, which is the names, the technique for names. And it's called You Name It. And it's a 2-part masterclass. And I've taught that twice online. It's really fun because I teach the whole technique and then we practice it together on Zoom. I mean, I used to teach it live. Now I teach it on Zoom. And we practice it, and it's so much fun. People are always blown away with how many names they can remember that they thought, no way, they can't do that. And I prove to them that they can. So, but I will tell you, here's the thing. When you meet someone new, so what happens? They say their name, and usually it goes in one ear and out the other, right? Because you're distracted. Either there's internal distractions, thoughts going through your head, or there's external distractions. Maybe you're in a mall or a shopping center and there's a lot going on around you. So it's hard to actually give it the proper attention. So again, attention and intention we'll talk about today. Attention is and intention. It's very similar. It's I want to remember your name. I am going to use this technique to remember your name. That's the intention. As opposed to, I could care less what your name is. I'm not even going to pay attention to it, which some people do, on purpose, and some people don't. It just doesn't matter to them. But I want to remember your name. I care enough about you to remember your name. When I say your name, it shows you that I care about you. So people love to hear their names. They love that other people say their names. It's one of the sweetest sounds to us are our names. Like when someone says, hi, Rena, then it makes me feel like, that you know who I am. So it is important to remember names. So that's why I put a lot of emphasis on it in my course. So intention is I really want to remember your name. I'm going to try. That's intention. Attention is I'm going to do my best to cut out the background noise, really look you in the eye and say, I want to remember your name, Kate. And when you say your name, Kate, I'm going to really pay attention to it. And I'm going to repeat it back to you out loud. You said before, Kate, that you say it to yourself in your mind. That's one step. But what I want you to do now is say it out loud. So it's going to, hi, Kate, where do you live?
I see. So it's you're
going to answer me. Where do you live, Kate?
Right. I live in Ecuador. Right.
Okay. I just said your name twice. Kate, what do you do for a living?
Right. I'm a brain health coach.
Okay, great. That's really interesting. I want to talk to you more about that, Kate. So nice to meet you, Kate. Have a nice day, Kate. I actually, now that was a little like, but I just said your name I think I did 6 times. I counted 6 times. Now, what does that do? First of all, I'm paying attention to repeat your name.
Right.
Second of all, I'm saying it out loud. When I say something out loud, I'm hearing myself say it. So I'm using my senses. The more senses you use to encode a memory, the likelier it is that you're going to remember it. True. So you don't have to I just did it like a lot and it sounded a little like fake, but imagine you're talking to someone for a couple of minutes and you just repeat their name like 3 or 4 times. That is going to help you with 25 to 50% of the names right there, without going on to the fancier techniques, which is what I teach in my You Name It masterclass. Right. But right there, this is one of the best tips. Repeat the name out loud back to the person. Again, you're making the intention and you're really giving it your attention. You're looking at them in the eye and you're saying, Kate, it's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So yeah, and asking questions, what a good way, because that also connects what they do or where they are. So if you have to think about it later, you've got those cues that you talked about.
Exactly. So now I know where you live. I know what you do, just in that short conversation we had.
Right.
The more you know about the person, the more it's going to also help you encode that memory. Right.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And even envisioning, like like with me asking you where you would live in Israel, I'm like, oh, I'm so fascinated to go there. And that would trigger for me, for sure, your name. Yeah.
And then of course, I'm not going to go into it now because we're doing a short talk here, but what I go on to explain is we make the name meaningful. And how do you make the name meaningful? Why do we forget? One of the reasons we forget a lot of things is because it's not meaningful to us. Right. If I say my name is Rena Yudkowsky, that means nothing to you. It's a hard name to remember. I said it fast. It means nothing to you. The minute I make my name meaningful to you, you're going to be able to remember it. And we do that through association with features of the face and things you know about me. And so we make it really meaningful, and then it's so easy to remember.
Exactly.
Meaningful to you.
Yeah, we have to care about something, right? I mean, to a degree, or someone to some degree. Yeah. So before I started doing all this work on myself and really exercising a lot, which I agree 100%, you have to exercise it for so many reasons.
Yeah.
But even the diet and everything, before I did that, I found myself struggling for words. This one got me all the time. Hammock. Because everybody has hammocks here, Do you think I could remember that word? It drove me crazy. And even now, sometimes I have to stop for a second and think, oh yeah, I didn't remember that. But so
let's make it meaningful. Let's make that word meaningful for you.
Right.
Okay. So hammock. What does it sound like to you? Ham. I see the word H-A-M, ham.
Ham. Food, which I don't eat.
Right. I don't either. What if you imagine, like, ham is pig, right?
Yeah.
What if you imagined a huge pig sitting on the hammock? There's a huge ham sitting on the hammock. Huge one. Picture it. A huge pig sitting on the hammock. Hammock. Now does the name come to you?
Yes. I will never forget it now. That's for sure.
And the mental image. I want you to close your eyes and see a huge pink ham sitting on that hammock. Why? Because our mind thinks in pictures.
Yes.
Right? So as soon as we can have a mental image to it, you're going to be able to come up with it so much quicker.
That's brilliant. And I know that people on this group are going to really appreciate that, because that has been a big issue for so many of us. That was also the first sign that my mom, when she was beginning her decline, it was the words. Yeah. It was like, that thing, she would say, that thing, that thing. Right.
The thingamajig.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. It's frustrating.
I know we only have a couple more minutes, but I'd love to ask you about like losing keys. That's the other big thing. On your glasses.
Yes, let's talk about that. I love this example too. Okay, so again, why do you lose your keys in your glasses and your phone? Because you put it down, your hand puts down your keys, but where's your brain? Somewhere else in Honolulu, right? So, and we do it like automatically. We throw it down without giving it any intention or attention. The minute we give it some attention, the minute that's going to be stored there instead of just not.
Right.
So when I put down my key, first of all, the easiest way to do this is to have a set place. So there should be either a hook or a place on your counter or your coffee table or your dining room table. There should be one spot for your key, and your key only goes in that spot. So that's really the easiest thing. But for people that can't do that for whatever reason, here's what you do. When you put your keys down, now you're going to imagine a genie popping out of them or a bomb blowing up. Again, we're going to make a really crazy mental image. The crazier it is, the more likely you're going to remember it. So when I put down my keys, a bomb blows up on my coffee table. So 2 hours later, I say, now, where are my keys? Oh my gosh, this image of a bomb blowing up on my coffee table comes to me, and that's where my keys are.
Wow.
It could be, I'll give you another, it could either be a bomb blowing up, it could be a genie, it could be a big bouquet of flowers, a big bouquet of flowers. It has to be absurd and out of proportion, because then you remember it, right?
Right.
And colorful. The more colorful and vivid your image is, the more likely you are to remember it. So when you put your glasses down, let's say you put them down, on your like on your desk in front of your computer, and then you walk away to do 10 other tasks or items, and then you go, now where are my glasses? But when you put them down, which I know you don't do it intentionally, because if you do it intentionally, you would remember, but you don't. So now you're going to give it 2 seconds of intention and attention. You're going to put it down, and a big bouquet of roses are going to pop out of your glasses. So when you walk away, and then you go, now where are my glasses? Oh, all of a sudden, this huge picture of a bouquet of roses comes to you. Now, you might get tired of doing this 100 times a day. So it's always better to have set, organized places for things. But it does work. This mental image does work. And also our brain has a way of focusing out and filtering out whatever it doesn't need. Right. So you could try this, this technique of the mental image over and over. And when we don't need it anymore, our brain sort of gets rid of it. Our brain has a way of, filtering out what it doesn't need. But that's the best technique. Or saying out loud, just like when I did with your name, say it out loud. I am putting my keys on the coffee table.
I heard you say that in your webinar, and I've done that ever since, and I have not misplaced my keys.
Yay!
Yeah.
Because it works. Why? Because you're hearing yourself say it. So you're using your senses, and that helps you encode the memory into long-term memory.
Yeah. Awesome. Rena, this has been wonderful, and I know people are going to get a lot of value out of it. How can they work with you more, and what's the next thing you have coming up?
Thank you. So I actually have something really great that's ongoing, which is a membership program. It's a 3-month membership program, and it's called Remembership. And that you don't have to be live. You can, as soon as you start your membership, you get access to video 1 and brain exercise 1. And so every week, it's a 12-week program. Every week you get a short video. It's 6 to 12 minutes, really short, with tips, just like what I just did over the past few minutes. Every video has different tips and tricks, and a video, and then a brain exercise to keep those brains really working hard, and use it or lose it. I've been doing this for a couple months. My members love the brain exercises.
Oh, great.
And then, so it's a video of brain exercise, and once a month we hop on a live coaching call where I answer questions. So how about I put the link to Remembership under the video in your group? Can I do that?
Absolutely. Please do. Yes.
I also do one-on-one memory assessments. So if you're feeling like I'm not really sure where I'm holding, or if my memory loss is normal or not, you can just email me. It's Rena@RenaYudkowsky.com. We'll put that also there
under the video as well.
Yeah. And email me, and we can do a one-on-one memory assessment. And then I can sort of, give you ideas of what's the next step for you. We'll do an assessment and see what you need next.
All right.
In terms of, thank you, Rena. Yeah, perfect. And then after, hopefully, I hope in another month or two, I'm going to offer my whole course again, like the 18-hour course, which is really, it's a lot of information. People loved it, and it's a lot of information. And I hope to offer that after Passover, so another month or so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful, and I'm going to remember that hammock for the rest of my life now.
Oh, good. I'm so happy.
Okay, I know you've got a lot of stuff going on in preparation for the holidays, so you have a wonderful time. Many blessings.
Thank you, Kate.
And thank you
for
so much.
The opportunity, and it's fun to talk to you, Kate. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening. And if you're watching the replay, you can always put #replay so we know that you watched it. Yes. And I'll share it in my group as well. Once this is over, I can even share this in my group, and then people will know about both of us.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rena.
you.
Take care.